Welcome to Story Hour, a virtual meetup hosted by Wolf and Heron.
All right, Bart, you're on. Stage is yours.
Okay. So I've remodeled homes for a very long time, which basically means that I take a serviceable piece of equipment or system and I provide updates and I optimize it for the current user. Because let's face it, most of the time, I don't come into a house that has like a completely non-working kitchen or a non-working bathroom. It just doesn't work as well or isn't optimized to what the person who uses it now, the way they want it. So over the years of doing these remodels, and I'm talking about years and years and years, I figured out one thing. You can't get from serviceable to optimized without making a pretty large mess. So the process then for me through construction and doing construction has always come down to make a mess, clean it up. That's my day. Make a mess, clean it up. And through that process, you show up at the job site and you tear down a wall. You might put up a wall. You might put in some cabinets. You might put in some trim, some tile, whatever's going on. But what happens is all the tools come out of the boxes and they get spread out all over the job site and you make a mess with them. And then at the end of the day, we kind of go around, we pick up all those tools, we put them back in the boxes, and we clean up the rest of the mess. It's sort of like daycare for very large boys, or girls. And so we go through the process of that every day, and hopefully at the end of the day, there's a little bit of improvement, right? There's a little bit of progress. We clean up and we go, oh, cool. Like, there we go. We're one more step closer to that optimized space. What I didn't know over the years was that this was preparing me for, let's say, turning 40. When I turned 40, that next 12 months, some things happened. I got divorced. I lost my house. I lost all my money. I was physically broken. I was mentally broken. And so really what it turned into was the fact that I had made a very, very large mess. I made a big mess and I had to clean it up. Now, sometimes you can't clean up things in one day. It's not just like you just get in there and you do it. So what I was lucky was that since I've been 25 years old, I have a morning routine for myself. The morning routine, walk the dog, yoga, some meditation, some journaling. Now, up until 40, it was inclusive of external messes. That's what I dealt with every morning. I dealt with, I can fix the business. I can fix my relationship. I can fix, raising my daughter. I can fix the employees. I can fix all those things, my finances. And if I get all that fixed up, then, well, internally I'll be fine, right? Of course, right? Fix all the stuff around you. Internally, you're fine. But at 40, guess what went away? The business, the employees, the relationship. Thank God I still have my daughter, one of the few things I own outright. And so I got to a point where I was like, great, the only thing left is me, right? Everywhere I go, I take myself with me. So what I did was I changed after 40, that time period was now my cleanup, right? Every day I made the mess. Every day I clean up. My morning routine became clean up. The cleanup was now internal. The cleanup was now, the meditation became, how do I fix my problem, my internal reactions? How do I study stoicism? How do I study whatever it might be to create a better internal dialogue with myself so that now the outside world isn't so messy around me? And every day that process gets me what? A little bit closer, a little bit more optimized, a little bit more refined. And my final product won't probably be there anytime soon, but hopefully, at some point I get to a final product and it's a bit better and optimized than when I started. That's my story.
Okay, yay! That was awesome for a first session, Bart. Welcome to Story Hour.
Story Hour.
So, what are some things that Bart did really well that we want him to hang on to in his story? Go ahead, Milo.
I think he's spoken a very informal tone, which I think was particularly inviting. I think it was kind of like he was talking to a friend. I think that it just demonstrates that you've got a lot of experience speaking in front of people. And that was able to help me understand the story a lot more, because it was just like I was talking to a buddy and not, like somebody who's up on a stage. So I really liked that. And I also liked how it kind of began and ended the same. So the whole bookend thing. So I think it was well organized and kind of gave us a good window of opportunity to look into both where you came from and how that shaped you through this turbulent process where a lot of the pieces were removed from your life. So I think the story was particularly well organized. It demonstrated exactly what you're trying to convey, and it flowed pretty well.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts? Go ahead, Stephen.
I really like your rapport, Bart. I think you honed that with your customers, and especially your irate customers over the year. I can just feel you leaning into your customer relationships and smoothing them over. You got a great touch, and your big old bear of a voice is part of that charm. Wonderful. I also like the metaphor you used. You used it pretty obviously. It went from something really down home and earthy all the way up to a spiritual life, and that's a great breadth of a reach for a metaphor. It's very good.
Thank you.
Today's theme is keep it real. And I think, Bart, you did a fantastic job of keeping it real in a lot of different respects. You showed up as very real yourself. You bring your authentic self to your story. You are vulnerable in your story. You don't talk about how perfect you are, but rather how much of a mess you created for yourself, and how it's like you're a work in progress, right? And simultaneously, to Stephen's point, you make the work that you're doing very real through your metaphor. And Kara and I love metaphor and use and love it when people lean into metaphor as a storytelling device. And so great. And in this particular case, it did help with the keep it real superpower that we talk about. One last thought on what Bart did well.
Oh, I thought it was kind of like a TED Talk style, where it like started with a anecdotal story that related to. It's just like you're a natural storyteller, and I think it just shows. Like it's, I don't know. Like I don't know if you prepared that or not, but like having the metaphor prepared for the back end of the story, and like Stephanie was saying, like the vulnerability was great. It's hard to be vulnerable with people you don't know, but the fact that you can shows you've grown a lot and have a lot of grounding in yourself, and you do have a lot of healthy habits. As I was saying, like I am in a men's group, and those are things that we all try to talk about. So yeah, just kind of impressive with how natural it was, as Steve and Stephanie were saying.
Yeah, the make a mess, clean it up is a metaphor or idea or something I've been working on for a while. Like it's just an idea of kind of how to explain things to people.
What's also interesting is you talk about like how your job is like kids spreading around toys, cleaning it up, but you're also saying like I'm a personal mess, and in a way that's like you haven't done the personal growth either, as well. And so like your job, it's like sets like a growth in a timeline to your story as well, even though you have 25 years of working experience and all this growth was happening at the same time. It makes it seem like it was more in a timeline because of the metaphor.
Okay. Excellent.
Great. All right. What about opportunities or things that Bart can experiment with to make the story even more powerful?
Come on now.
Go ahead.
I think the opportunity is to lean in. Everything everybody said is accurate, and you could probably be more vulnerable by being more specific. And so, for example, you talked about your marriage, you talked about your business, those are some like big things, right? And could we better understand and relate and feel you if you peek pick either one of those or like one aspect of it to help color it. So like, for example, is the business because you made a bad partnership decision? Is the business because like you had no expertise in the area, right? Like that's like, what was the thing for one of those failures that you have, one of those messes that helps us imagine you in it more than just abstractly.
Yeah, I would love to add, and then you can have it again, Kara. But I was thinking to that exact point, this visual of, rather than, oh, I got divorced, is there a visual of like, oh, and then my wife shut the front door for the last time, right? It's like you can even just illustrate it in a way that gives it a little bit more color, and then we will feel it more. Okay, Kara, keep going. Sorry.
No, I think that's exactly right. It doesn't have to be It doesn't have to be you revealing personal details that you don't want to reveal. It's more about, again, some of the feedback I was giving Milo is anytime you tell a story, why are you telling a story? Is it to tell an anecdote? Is it to explain your business? And depending on what that purpose is, think about what element of the story you want to bring more light to, and actually bring more light to it. It's weird how by being specific, right, you saying something about your business that I have not experienced or I have not done somehow helps me relate to you more, but it does, because I can just imagine the scenario better and I can try to put myself in your shoes. Whereas if you're broad, I'm not able to do that. So that's what I would think about.
Yeah. I think to second that and push it a little further is that I wanted to see or understand more deeply the depth of the mess you had created in your personal life. Because you're talking about, at the end of the day, you're talking about, make a mess, clean it up, make a mess, clean it up. And I can actually visualize a mess in the construction sort of remodeled world where it is a mess. I can't as easily imagine the personal mess. And I think where I was going with it was, is there an opportunity to lead into one of the other superpowers that we talk about, which is engage emotion? And can you describe the physiological experience of being in the depths of that despair, right? What did it feel like? Did you not get out of bed? Did you, and that would help me to understand how deep this mess is.
Yeah. One example I left out, which I basically built a slideshow to go through the story, kind of feed me through the story. One of the examples I did leave out, it's funny you say that, is because I was going to say, like, yeah, when I got divorced, it was pretty easy split, because basically we split $12,000 in debt. I was like, here's your $6,000 in debt. Here's my $6,000 in debt. Have a good time. So, the financial worries were pretty much off the table because there wasn't any finances.
Yeah.
Worried about, So I get where you're coming from with that. Stephen?
Can I echo the two ladies' recommendation to make something more specific? When you talked about the end of you said the word divorce and you said the word relationship, but if you had said the name Jane, it would have tied me in a lot closer right away. Mm-hmm. You by using the two words you used, it felt much more aloof. But if you put a real person in there, then I could feel your pain better.
All right. That's good. Yeah, I like that.
Visit wolfandheron.com to find out more about our story hours.